The Silk Road, a historical trade route that shaped the world. The Silk Road was an ancient network of trade routes that connected the East and West for over 1,500 years. It was named after the lucrative Chinese silk trade that was one of the main products exchanged along the route, but it also facilitated the exchange of ideas, cultures, and technologies between different regions of the world. The Silk Road was not a single road, but a network of paths that stretched from China to Europe, passing through Central Asia, the Middle East, and the Mediterranean. The Silk Road began as a local trade route between China and neighboring regions during the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE to 220 CE. But it gradually expanded as new regions were brought into contact through conquest, diplomacy, and commerce. The Chinese Empire, with its wealth of goods such as silk, porcelain, and tea, sought to extend its trade beyond its borders, while the Central Asian nomads, who controlled the oases along the route, welcomed the opportunity to trade with the Chinese, as well as with the West. The Silk Road had a profound impact on the world, both economically and culturally. It allowed for the exchange of goods and technologies, such as papermaking, gunpowder, and printing, which spread from China to the West. It also facilitated the spread of religions, such as Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam, as well as artistic styles, languages, and scientific knowledge. One of the most famous travelers along the Silk Road was the Venetian merchant Marco Polo, who journeyed from Venice to China in the 13th century and spent 17 years at the court of Kublai Khan, the Mongol ruler of China. His travelogue, The Travels of Marco Polo, introduced Europeans to the wonders of China and the East, and inspired many subsequent explorers and adventurers. The Silk Road declined in the 15th century, due to the rise of sea trade routes and the decline of the Mongol Empire, which had facilitated the trade along the route. However, its legacy continues to shape the world today, as it laid the foundation for global trade and cultural exchange. The Silk Road also influenced the development of the modern world, as it facilitated the exchange of ideas and technologies that helped to spur innovation and progress. In conclusion, the Silk Road was a historical trade route that shaped the world by facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, cultures, and technologies between different regions of the world. It had a profound impact on the world, both economically and culturally, and its legacy continues to shape the world today. The Industrial Revolution, a turning point in human history. The Industrial Revolution was a period of major changes in the way goods were produced. Starting in the late 18th century and continuing through the 19th century, it began in Britain and then spread to other countries, including the United States, Germany, and Japan. The Industrial Revolution transformed society by creating new industries, increasing production, and changing the way people lived and worked. Before the Industrial Revolution, most people lived in rural areas and worked in agriculture. There were few factories and most goods were made by hand. However, with the invention of new machines and the development of new techniques for manufacturing, production increased dramatically. The steam engine, invented by James Watt in 1775, was a key innovation that made it possible to power machines and transport goods more efficiently. As production increased, new industries emerged, including textiles, iron and steel, and coal mining. These industries were concentrated in urban areas, leading to the growth of cities and the development of new forms of transportation, such as canals, railroads, and steamships. The growth of industry also led to the development of new financial systems, such as banks and stock markets, that made it possible to finance large-scale projects. The Industrial Revolution had a profound impact on society. It led to the growth of the middle class and the decline of the aristocracy. It also created new opportunities for women and children to work in factories, although this led to harsh working conditions and child labor abuses. The Industrial Revolution also led to the rise of socialism and the labor movement, as workers began to demand better wages, working conditions, and political rights. The Industrial Revolution also had a major impact on the environment. The burning of coal and the use of steam engines led to air pollution and the growth of urban slums. The use of machines and the development of new farming techniques also led to the destruction of forests and the depletion of soil fertility. In conclusion, the Industrial Revolution was a turning point in human history that transformed society by creating new industries, increasing production, and changing the way people lived and worked. It had a profound impact on society, leading to the growth of cities, the development of new forms of transportation, and the rise of the middle class. However, it also led to harsh working conditions, child labor abuses, and environmental degradation. Despite these challenges, the Industrial Revolution laid the foundation for modern industrial society and continues to shape the world today. The rise and fall of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was one of the most powerful and influential empires in history, spanning 3 continents and lasting for over 5 centuries. Its origins can be traced back to the city-state of Rome, which was founded in the 8th century BCE. Over time, Rome expanded its territory through conquest, diplomacy, and alliances, eventually becoming a dominant power in the Mediterranean world. Under the leadership of Julius Caesar, Rome underwent significant political and social reforms, including the creation of the First Roman Empire in 27 BCE. Caesar's successors, including Augustus, expanded the empire's territory through military conquests, including the annexation of Egypt, Spain, and Gaul. During this time, Rome also experienced a period of economic and cultural prosperity, known as the Pax Romana, which lasted for almost 200 years. However, the empire faced significant challenges in the 3rd century CE, including internal unrest, economic instability, and attacks from barbarian tribes. This led to a period of crisis known as the 3rd century crisis, during which the empire was divided into 3 separate states. The crisis was eventually resolved by Emperor Diocletian, who restructured the empire into a more centralized and bureaucratic state. Despite these efforts, the Roman Empire continued to face challenges, including invasions by the Germanic tribes and internal struggles for power. In 476 CE, the Western Roman Empire fell to the Germanic general Odoacer, marking the end of the Roman Empire in the West. The Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire, continued to exist for another 1,000 years, until it was conquered by the Ottoman Turks in 1453. The legacy of the Roman Empire can still be seen in many aspects of modern Western civilization, including language, law, government, and architecture. Latin, the language of the Romans, has influenced many modern languages, including English, French, and Spanish. Roman law and government, including the concept of citizenship, have also had a lasting impact on Western political thought. Roman architecture, including the arch and dome, continues to inspire architects and designers around the world. In conclusion, the Roman Empire was one of the most powerful and influential empires in history, spanning 3 continents and lasting for over 5 centuries. It was characterized by significant political, social, and economic achievements, as well as challenges and periods of crisis. Despite its eventual decline, the legacy of the Roman Empire continues to shape the world today. The ancient Greeks established the Academy in Athens in 385 BC, which was the first institution of higher learning in the Western world. The first university in the world was founded in Bologna, Italy in 1088. The Renaissance period in Europe, 14th-17th century, saw a renewed interest in classical learning and the rise of humanism. In the 19th century, compulsory education laws were established in many countries, including the United States, which required children to attend school. In 1905, Maria Montessori developed the Montessori method of education, which emphasized hands-on learning and individualized instruction. In the mid-20th century, the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union led to an increased focus on science and technology education. In 1965, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act was signed into law in the United States, providing federal funding for education and addressing issues of educational inequality. The 21st century has seen a growing emphasis on digital technology in education, with online learning, educational apps, and other digital tools becoming increasingly common. The ancient civilizations of Egypt and China had formal systems of education as early as 3000 BCE. In ancient Greece, philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle emphasized the importance of education and the pursuit of knowledge. The Library of Alexandria, founded in Egypt in the 3rd century BCE, was one of the largest and most important libraries of the ancient world. In medieval Europe, education was primarily offered by the church and focused on theology and classical studies. The Renaissance period, 14th-17th century, saw a renewed interest in classical learning and the rise of humanism. The Age of Enlightenment, 18th century, emphasized the importance of reason and critical thinking in education. In the 19th century,